Good morning and welcome into NFL Daily, presented today by LinkedIn Talent Solutions. If you're hiring for your small business, you need to be using LinkedIn. And you can post your job for free when you head over to linkedin.com/NFL Daily. More on them in a little bit, but it's power rankings time here at NFL Daily. As we do every year, it is a AP poll style polling of all the different hosts and producers here at Chat Sports, averaged together. Here's what we got. Number 32, the Jets. Not a consensus. Number 32. There were two different voters who did not have New York in that last spot, but they did not look great against the Ravens. And no, Zach Wilson definitely hurts them right now. Number 31, the Atlanta Falcons. They almost beat the Saints. They probably should have, and then they kind of maybe remembered they were the Falcons. I will say this. I thought the offense looked pretty good, so exceeded my expectations, but some other teams we weren't sold on this year actually won in week one. One of those was not the Jacksonville Jags. Looked like a minute that they were going to come back and win, but then they ended up allowing Carson Wentz to take the lead, give it back, and take it back as well. Jacksonville checks in at 30. Our first tie team, that is the Houston Texans, 0-1. I honestly think the Colts outplayed Houston, but they got the tie despite some really good looks down the stretch for Indy to win that game. I say this, though. I think ties are un-American. I hate everything about them. This is football, not soccer. You should not be tying. If you're like me and you despise ties more than anything, type in T in the comment section. Number 28, the Carolina Panthers. You had a good chance against the Browns team without Deshaun Watson, and you couldn't get out the win. I do like the ring of Nebraska football head coach Matt Rule. Number 27, the Detroit Lions. A lot of what we saw last year, we saw again this year. Competitive team, almost clawed back to pull off the upset. Couldn't quite get the W. All right, 26, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, owner Jerry Jones said moments ago, maybe it's only 4 weeks for Dak Prescott when the initial timeline was 6 to 8 weeks, which, yeah, of course, is a busted thumb. The offense looks like, middling garbage, to be blunt, in week one. Let's split the difference from 4 to 8. Let's say the Cowboys don't have Dak Prescott for 6 games. That would be against the Bengals, the Giants, the Commanders, the Rams, the Packers, I believe, and the Eagles and the Lions. Those are the 6 games, excuse me. How many games do they win without Dak in that time frame? Who's apparently not going to go to injured reserve, which is interesting to me. How many games do they win? Is it 0? Is it 1? 2? I think it's a low number. I think the ranking here at 26 reflects the lack of optimism around the Cowboys' offense in light of the Dak Prescott injury. But let me know how many games the Cowboys win without Dak. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Number 25, the Seattle Seahawks. I was impressed that they won that game. Now, did Nathaniel Hackett kind of go full-fledged, coward down the stretch? Yes, he did go full-fledged coward. I will make note, by the way, you're going, why is Seattle behind Denver? Well, it's week one of the power rankings. Our sample size is 1 game, but all the voters did carry over some of the preseason expectations and overall views. Upsets happen every week. There are a lot of disagreements in the rankings, so if you disagree, it's not my fault. We'll blame somebody else. I'll tell you whose fault it was in the comments if you ask me. And remember, it's week one. There's going to be a lot of change in the coming weeks. Number 24, the New England Patriots, who I was very unimpressed by. It turns out that maybe having Matt Patricia as your play caller isn't a good idea. How about them Giants? Number 23, and I will go Commanders here, 22, real quick, because I'm going to talk about both teams, both NFC teams together. I had the Giants over the Commanders. I was more impressed with the Giants win over Tennessee than the Commanders win over Jacksonville. But with some injuries for Dak, maybe the Giants and Commanders suddenly feel a little bit good about their chances. Big-time wins, especially for new head coach Brian Daboll. I think he's the guy in New York. Number 21, the Tennessee Titans. That was a bad loss. I did our Titans preview here, and my final takeaway or point was like, just remember it's the Giants. Don't blow it. And then they blew it. Kind of embarrassing for Tennessee. They were pretty high on some of the preseason rankings. They dropped significantly on this one, which I think is a pretty big red flag for them. Today's show is made possible by LinkedIn Talent Solutions. As you gear up for fall, you need the right people on your team to help your small business fire on all cylinders. LinkedIn Jobs here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job in the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you want to interview and hire. That's why small businesses rank LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NFL Daily. That's linkedin.com/NFL Daily to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. We got a bunch of new people here at Chat Sports who have not quite gotten the Power Rankings voting allocation allowance yet, but they're looking good so far. Appreciate LinkedIn Jobs. Again, go post it for free if you have your small business. LinkedIn.com/NFL Daily. It's in the comments and in the description. Number 20, the Chicago Bears. I don't really know how much we can take away from that Week 1 win for the Bears and the Week 1 loss to the Niners, who obviously we'll get to. That was a mud fest, a mutter, if you will. That is not a game you go, yes, see, the Bears are great, or the Niners are bad, or Lance sucks, or Fields is great. Like, you're just trying to gut out a win, and the Bears did. Congrats to them. The Colts at number 19. Yeah, they slide down here. They were a lot higher preseason. They should have won that game. It was just a cluster of like, wow, we made this bad decision, this thing over and over. I think they're better than Houston. But the tie on American, again, type T if you hate ties. Arizona Cardinals, number 18. They did not look that great against Kansas City. I know the Chiefs are a good football team, but I think all the voters here were like, yeah, but they looked bad. It wasn't even close. They're at 18. The Browns at number 17, 1-0. They got that win over Carolina, but also, there's still some doubt about Jacoby Brissett, which I think is fair. Now, if you are an NFL fan, make sure you guys are subscribed. We will have these power rankings, whether it's me hosting or somebody else, every single Tuesday here at Chat Sports. Tuesday morning is power rankings time. Make sure those noties are turned on so you don't miss out on anything. Number 16, the San Francisco 49ers. I think the defense is still good. I'm not out on Trey Lance. The O-line, Elijah Mitchell injury, they went from being, for the most part, preseason a top 10-ish team to right about league average. The Las Vegas Raiders now at number 15. Look, Derek Carr, and my boy Mitchell Lynch is right. Derek Carr didn't play well. A couple interceptions that should have been bigger plays if he doesn't float them like he tends to do on his deep shots. So the Raiders are at 15. Tough loss against the Chargers. Be honest with me, folks. Who was the singular biggest Week 1 disappointment? Could be a player, could be a team. I think the Cowboys offense checks in there, but there were a lot of teams I thought were pretty good that didn't show up. You can go back to Thursday night, the Rams. They're struggle fest. Let the Bengals having 5 turnovers. That's a good one. Let me know in the comments section. Biggest Week 1 disappointment. Denver's probably a good one. New look for Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett, the head coach, and you settle for a 64-yard field goal. I know it was 4th and 5, I do, but maybe you just go for it with your quarterback and be aggressive. Didn't do it. McManus couldn't deliver. It's not great there in the end for Denver. They fall to 14. The Saints at 13 now. Look, I was impressed they came back to win that football game. In an NFC, they very much got an opportunity to find a way to make the postseason. Good job by New Orleans. And I don't think anybody jumped up the same way the Pittsburgh Steelers did on these rankings. I am not sold on them yet because that offense is bad. And if it takes you overtime to win a game when you have 5 takeaways on defense, that's not necessarily sustainable. But they get the win. And what do we know about Mike Tomlin? His team is probably always going to be at least 500. Keep that in mind. The Green Bay Packers down to 11. They were top 10 preseason, not so much now. The offensive line was really banged up. The receivers are not very good. It's not that dissimilar to what the Cowboys went through, where like their offensive line is banged up and not very good, and their receivers are not very good outside of CeeDee Lamb. Maybe Packers have a little bit better depth at receiver. Christian Watson didn't make that catch, and Aaron Rodgers not happy. I think there's a lot more confidence because it's Aaron Rodgers and better coaching and Matt LaFleur for the Packers to figure things out than Dallas. But out to the top 10 feels right to me. All right, number 10, the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they bounced back in a big way in week 2 against the Cowboys, but can't turn the ball over 5 times, Joe Burrow. That's not going to win you football games. Maybe they still win if they challenge the initial touchdown from Jamar Chase that was just missed by the officials. Easy challenge. Didn't do it. They called a timeout and didn't challenge it. What are you doing, Bengals? And then your long snapper gets hurt and the backup can't handle things properly. It took a lot for Cincinnati to lose. That's a bad way to start your season. The Miami Dolphins at number 9. Somebody, I won't say who, you can guess who it was, had them all the way inside the top 6. Or actually had 2 people in the top 6. Yeah, you're right, Jack. The Patriots, I think, are bad. Dolphins cracked the top 10. I had them just outside that spot. The Rams at number 8. They lose to a really good football team. The defending champs. I'm a big believer in their number 1, so they get knocked off. Well, they've been knocked off already. The Eagles at 7. Maybe they would have been higher if they didn't allow the Lions to really make a late charge and almost come back in that game. But A.J. Brown looks awesome, guys. Number 6, the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell, I think he's a good coach, at least a good play caller. Took down the Packers. It wasn't just that they beat the Packers. It's that they beat them handily. That was one of, I think, the more impressive Week 1 wins. With that in mind, who impressed you the most in Week 1? Could be a player, could be a team, could be a coach, maybe Brian Dable. Let me know in the comment section. Number 5, the Baltimore Ravens, right about where they were entering this week. They took care of business, right? Beat a bad Jets team. Good job, Baltimore. Number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They ran the football well. They overcame the injuries on offense. The defense looks stout against a garbage Cowboys offense. They check in at number 4. The Chargers jump big time here. I think people wanted one game to see that they could be the team we thought they were going to be, and then they were. Herbert looked awesome. The Chargers take down the Raiders. This is a really good chance for L.A. to be that team that they've never been, really, to take that step from, hey, we can make the playoffs, or in this case, making the playoffs, and be better than those Rivers teams ever were. Now, we're going to get to our top 2, and I will say it was not a consensus at number 1. You can guess who went with the Chiefs as opposed to who went with the Bills. Who's the best team in the NFL? Let me know in the comment section. Not quite unanimous here. The Chiefs at number 2. I will say, by the way, they were also not quite a consensus number 2. They averaged out to 2 exactly. They had a first-place vote, a third-place vote, and the rest were all second. To the surprise of nobody, the Buffalo Bills are your number 1 NFL team. They blew out the Rams in kind of embarrassing fashion for L.A. Buffalo, KC, still feels like they're your top 2 teams in the NFL, but the Bills, I think correctly, have the number 1 spot this week.